Hi, everybody. This is Kathy L. Murphy, and I'm the Pulpwood Queen. I welcome you tonight to our new online book club at Pulpwood Academy. And we have two authors with us that wrote a book that is one of my book club selections. I'm so excited to introduce them because as a new grandmother, I have almost a 20-month-year-old little grandson. When I read this book, I thought, finally, a book, a resource for women like me who want to have the best grandmother experience ever. So we have tonight Leslie Zinberg and Pamela Siegel. So welcome, girls. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
How are you?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
And
Yes.
they're all the way in California. So we were just talking right before this went live about what is happening on the Gulf Coast with the hurricanes and Katrina, not Hurricane Katrina, but the hurricanes since Katrina, and the Gulf Coast is without power. So it makes it really interesting when we're doing these Zoom meetings, because we had problems last week with Breathless Wines in California because they were having power outages in Sonoma County, California, and we weren't able to get online. But Rebecca Rosenberg, one of my authors, finally did post a video of the vineyard. So if you want to see it, it's up on Breathless Bubbles and Books. So that is our daily blog that we do with our Pulpwood Queen authors, of which I have so many of our authors joining us with. But tonight, we want to hear more about this wonderful book that you've come out with and the concept of it, because I really haven't seen a whole lot of books out there covering this topic. And especially, I'm an older grandma because I was an older mom. So I, really want to have the best experience with my grandson. And this is the one-stop shop for everything you need to know about grandparenting. So tell us about your books. Who wants to go first?
Leslie
Okay.
always goes first.
Okay, all right. We wrote this book to be a grandparent toolbox for grandparents so that they could better communicate and connect with their grandkids. And that's what it's all about. It is 52 moments of mindful grandparenting. And the reason we're saying it's mindful grandparenting is that Pam will talk a little bit more about mindful, but that's what we have in mind. If that was our goal as we put this all together. And it's each moment has a quote at the top, and then it has directives, and then it has a story from a grandparent. So we asked a lot of different grandparents to send in their stories, and we put a story next to each moment, which are really fun. I mean, later on, if you want to, we can read a couple of the stories or not. But, and we have found that people are really understanding about being more mindful right now and caring, especially now during COVID.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And what this book does is it makes you, the individual, understand mindfulness a little bit more. And then once you understand it, then you can teach it to your grandchild. And then you can implement it. And the book is not just for grandparents. It's really for parents. It's for anybody. And, Pam, I will tell you how we met. I mean, we've been friends, but we started working when I asked Pam to write an article for my website, which is grandparentslink.com. And I asked Pam, who had small grandchildren at the time, if she would write an article on grandparenting. And I knew that she was working with mindfulness and that she was specializing in mindfulness. So she wrote this article for our website. And we had such amazing response that we decided we were going to write a book, because we did not see any other books that were out there, you're right, Kathy, that incorporated mindfulness and grandparenting. And then we did this book. It took us 5 years, but we did the book. And then I think that Pam can tell you, I mean, Pam is the mindfulness guru for us. And it's been a wonderful kind of journey, learning more about mindfulness as we're doing it, practicing it more, because it became more and more important to us, even though Pam was the expert here we were incorporating it into our lives with our kids. And it makes you stop and pay attention to what's happening right now.
Okay, we're going to stop for just a second because we have two people here. One is a brand new book club member, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing the name right. Afshan Hashmi. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And you have a wonderful, is it a podcast, from what I understand, that you do that has a huge viewership? Is that correct?
Yes, I have a radio show where I'm in conversation with authors, and it has more than 300 million listeners. So authors get a lot of exposure there.
Whoa!
I am honored to have you here and join us.
Sign us up.
Yes, sign us up. Right, we're ready.
We want to hear about it a little later, but we have one author who's just jumped in for just a second that I've got to introduce, and she's going to have to pop off. But her name is Mary Morris, and she wrote All the Way to the Tigers, which is a memoir about her going to India, which is the #1 bucket list place that I want to go. And I had a wonderful interview with you today, Mary. And like she said, we just had, I'm finding that these Zoom meetings were really connecting almost in a better way. Maybe it's the social distance thing, but I left that meeting today and I felt so charged that later on today I had to take a nap. It was wonderful, but I know you have just a minute, so I just want you to say hi to everybody and to go to the Kathy L. Murphy channel on YouTube, and you can watch the full interview that we did today. But Mary, tell them quickly just what your book is about and how, the Pulpwood Queens, we really cover everything. I mean, we cover the stories that interest me the most are the ones that haven't been told. And Mary covered a subject matter just like you guys, Pam, you and Leslie's book on grandparenting. Her book is about, she travels solo. And she had a very interesting thing happen where she was supposed to be, were you going to, I'm blank now. Were you going to Paris or Italy? Where were you going and the trip got canceled?
No, so actually, first of all, thank you, Kathy, very much. And we had a great interview and it was fantastic and I loved it. And I'm a recent grandparent, so I'm super interested in the grandparenting work that you guys have done. So I'm going to get, yeah.
It's the best book ever.
I can't see, but Kathy, will you send me the,
yes.
It's called Grandparenting, Renew, Relive, Rejoice. And it's 52 ways to mindfully connect and grow with your grandkids.
I'm going to go get it right away because I have a 2-month-old who is the nicest little person. He's so nice, and I didn't know I love him so much. So thank you. And I'm extremely excited to see that. And it's just a nice little thing. So do you want me to talk for a second, Kathy, before?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I don't want to take up too much time, but so in 2008, I had a sabbatical from my academic appointment. It was the first sabbatical I'd had without a kid at home in 14 years. And on the first day of my sabbatical, I said to my husband, let's go ice skating. And I fell and shattered my leg in 7 places, and I had to have many surgeries, and the doctor didn't know if I'd ever walk again. And in fact, he actually said to me, he said, a racehorse is put down for less. I think that was his, later, not right away.
Oh my gosh, Mary.
Later, when I complained that I couldn't really walk that well, he said, a racehorse is put down for less. Meanwhile, I can walk fine and everything is fine. But so that year, which was my sabbatical, I was actually going to be a nomad, and I was going to wander wherever I wanted to go. I've written 5 travel memoirs, and I didn't really have a plan, but I was just going to go traveling. And instead, I was on my sofa laid up for 3 months, and I literally canceled every day. I canceled another plan, another thing I thought I was going to do. It was really really difficult. And actually, it's one of those things that's been helping me get through lockdown, because I learned how to be under house arrest essentially during that period. And I'll just cut to the chase. While I was laid up, I was reading Death in Venice. Don't want to go into why, but I was reading Death in Venice, and I came to a sentence, and it said he would go on a journey not far, not all the way to the tigers. And I read that laid up on my sofa. Nobody was home. I was completely depressed. And I thought, okay, when I can walk, I'm going to go to the tigers, whatever that means, whatever that entails. And I didn't even know at the time what it meant. So the book kind of grew out of that moment and that sentence in a book. So that was the deal. And I went looking for tigers for the next several years.
Wow.
You can hear all about it on my Kathy L. Murphy channel. I just got it posted finally this afternoon. So it's up. I've been sharing it, and I share every video that I do. And I feel like, and this may seem a little strange, but I feel like these connections of people meeting serendipitously, like we do on this show or interview, is what brings us on maybe a little detour on our path. We talked about this earlier. Sometimes those detours are the best trips you've ever had. And sometimes the best trips I've ever had are the ones that were least expected. So whether you're grandparenting or whether you're going to see the tigers, and you know, I had completely forgotten when I read your book that you did have pictures in your book. And what I forgotten, I read so much, I have to read books over and over so I can retain stuff. I said I have to see things 5 times before it sticks, is she actually journals. She's written 77 journals where she watercolors from these trips. And I'd forgotten that, but I wanted to tell you, I remember it now. But it's an incredible story, as all of our Pulpwood Queen books are. And I'm so excited to share them with all of you, because we're an international book club. And it doesn't matter where you live in the world, whether you're in California or the Catskills right now at the little cabin that you are with your family. Or, and where are you, Afshan? Or Afshan?
I'm at Rockville, Maryland.
You're in Maryland. So see, we're just kind of all over the country, but we are, what you don't know is we also are an international book club, because I have chapters and members in at least 15 foreign countries. So we are really excited, because this coming year, for 20 years we've been meeting, we're going into our 21st. So I'm going to have 12 books of the month, bonus book club selections, and I'm also going to have 12 international reads. And Mary's book is going to be one of the international reads, because it's set, it's back and forth, but I just want to get readership around the world, because for me, living in my own little area in East Texas, the publishers in New York only send you authors' books that are set where you're at. I want to read about everything, don't you? I want to read about things that I don't know about. I'm an armchair traveler. So it was actually Carolyn Lee who's one of my authors, that connected me to Mary. And I apologize to her, because I ordered your books today, because I can't wait to read them. I'm so excited. Like I got like 12 more books today. Like I need more books to read, but sometimes I just have to read books that I want to read too. So anyway, thank you for joining us, Mary.
Thank you very much.
Nice
and
to
could I
meet
just
you. Thank you.
It's International Cat Day.
I know.
I'm not 100% cat person, but it's also tigers and leopards, Kathy. I mean, I am a cat person. I'm a big cat person. So I just want to send out a big embrace to all the cats in the world today.
Today is the day I should have gone to the Tiger Reserve. I have a Tiger Creek rescue 15 minutes from me that I've never been to. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to do a live FaceTime in honor of her book, because they really are rescuing circus tigers and people. How many did you tell me? How many people in the country have tigers as pets?
Well, so there are 12,000, I mean, this is a rough number, but there are approximately 12,000 tigers in private collections. So that might mean pets, it might mean private zoos like Joe Exotic. It also means, very sadly, there are people who have large property and they hunt tigers on their property. But there are approximately 12,000 tigers in private collections in the United States. There are about 4,000 tigers in the wild that are still in the wild. And those numbers are growing thanks to wonderful conservation and anti-poaching and things like that. So,
do you know that when I lived in Jefferson, Texas, my former in-laws lived on this county road in the woods called Joe Davis Road. And coming back from Longview one night with my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and all our kids, my minivan slid off down into a ditch. And so Penny and I decided to walk to the house to get the guys to come and help us. And as we're walking up this road, and it was a full moon night, so we could see pretty well, we were just about a half a mile from the house when we heard a lion roar. Now, you know, there's one thing to go to a zoo and see the big cats, but when you're out on a county road in East Texas, well, there was a circus that would winter on Joe Davis Road, and they had big cats. And it sounded like that lion was right there. And I'm telling you, I can't run, but I ran all the way. It was the scariest thing. And we came in and we just mud everywhere on us, and they just go, "What's wrong?" And we go, there's and they laughed so hard, but anyway, I thought that was a funny story. So we're going to have many stories, Mary, because I'm going to be doing that FaceTime soon.
Yeah.
As soon as it stops raining, I'm going to go up to the tiger place. But I appreciate you joining us.
Please send pictures. Thank you guys very much. Have a great evening, and
Thank you.
embrace your cats, okay?
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
Mary. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, so we segue from cats back to being a grandparent. And but you know what? I have a giant stuffed tiger I had on the show, and that's my favorite thing. My grandson, when he comes to my house, he likes to ride it. It's sitting in front of the fireplace, and the Pulpwood Queens, I know you don't know much about us, but our theme is animal print and usually hot pink. And so when I first started the book club and started having the conventions, I found this wonderful place in Shreveport that sold life-size tigers. I have a tiger, a cheetah, and a lion, and they come every year to Girlfriend Weekend. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to pack them in the car for the next one we reconvene in 2022. But anyway, it was just not, she said, "I just want to pop in and see what you're doing." So I'm sorry for the interruption, but let's go on with your story. Pam, you want to continue?
Sure. I mean, I think what Leslie was saying, we originally thought that the title of our book could be Presence, Presence, above presence, Presents. And presence is really, I would say, the main theme of our book, okay? Being present, showing up in life with our grandkids, our friends, people at work, just showing up. And that is what we tried to do with this book, is to give grandparents and actually anyone a way to show up in life and to be present. And being present is all about mindfulness. Now, as Leslie mentioned, I'm a marriage family therapist, and I have a certification in mindfulness. So I have used mindfulness personally and professionally with clients for depression, anxiety, and very much personally. It's really, really helped me. It's helped me calm my nervous system. It's helped me be more present in life. When I raised my own children, this was a long time ago. My kids are now 40 and 38. I thought that, multitasking my day away was fantastic. I thought I was the best mom. But then I took the training in mindfulness, and I realized, no, I was missing so much. And now I try to be really different with my grandchildren and my friends too. I try. I'm not perfect, but I try to be, pay attention and be in the present moment. And so when Leslie, she caught me, my grandkids they were very little. The two that are 9, they were just born. I think they were 6 months old. And so she'd asked me to write this article for her. And I was really immersed in practicing mindfulness and going to retreats. And I did a silent retreat. And so when she asked me that, I thought, what is going on in my life and how does this affect my grandchildren? So that's how I got really into this. And our book, the main base, I'm not going to get into a whole thing about mindfulness, but the core foundation of mindfulness, there are about 10 things that we really tried to put. That's beginner's mind, non-judging, patience, trust, non-striving, letting go, kindness, acceptance, and curiosity. So those building blocks of mindfulness are throughout our entire book. And they're mixed up, but that's kind of how we based our book. And so I think that really the key here is helping grandparents be present. And there's a lot of ways to do that. We have meditations, we have grandparent stories, we have, directives. We have all kinds of fun things in the book. Games. Yeah. So, I mean, so that's kind of where we are. And I think that, we could go in, we also do, one thing about mindfulness is you can practice it formally, like with a meditation or a yoga class or a body scan, or you can do it informally, like throughout the day, just say, oh my God, let me be present, throughout the day. So both of those types of meditations, of mindfulness, are also in our book.
Do you think it's true when we're children, we're in the moment?
More so. I do. I think
as we get older, we tend to either live in the past or the future, and we're not living in the present. And I think if one thing COVID has done for me, it's made me focus on who am I? What am I doing? If you're not in social situations, then who are you? I'm a social butterfly, So I just thought, you almost feel like you become invisible. Right. And so I started really paying attention to different things. Like I was telling Mary today, I had to get out of the house, so I'd walk in the woods. So when I walk in the woods, I try to look for something different and new every day, even though I might do the same walk. And I started finding these forest finds. And so, I'm an artist, Afshane, if you don't know this. I also do art and paint. So on my forest finds, I would pick up mushrooms and fungus and bird feathers and eggs and, bird eggs and different things and bring them back. And I'm going to turn this just a bit, but this is what I'm working on now, this series. I don't know if you can see this collage behind me.
That's great. Yeah.
But that's all from all the things that I took the time to really pay attention. And now my neighbor that walks with me, if I don't walk, she just goes into my studio and she leaves me what she finds. And I found a beautiful mushroom waiting for me when I went in after my Zoom today. And so she's doing it now. It's a movement,
Well, what you're doing is really called beginner's mind. That's the thing and we can learn so much from our grandchildren, because especially when they're little, the wonder and curiosity to see like the moon or a truck. We're like, oh, big deal. But when you're with them and they get so excited about these little things, that is teaching us to have more beginner's mind and to do it without judgment and without bias. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
As we get older, we become more narrow-minded. We definitely have blinders on, and now we got to open ourselves up to what is really going on around us. And nothing better than having our grandchildren teach us that.
It's wonderful. I can even remember when my sister's son was born, she called me and she said they were driving in the car and he was in the back seat in the car seat. And he said, Mama, look. And he was not even 2 and he was pointing to the clouds. And you know how there's that moment where the light's coming down, like the rays, he goes, look, there's God. And she said, she was driving and she said, oh my gosh. And, I hit the brake and I'm just going, where does this come from? But that's the wonder of children seeing things for the first time. You're so right. And I sat in my daughter's backyard watching my grandson just play. He was mowing with a little play mower and chasing his cat. And I just watched him and it was fascinating. I just drinking my coffee, watching him play was the most relaxing thing I've done all year.
So you were in the moment. You were right there with him it's just to watch just to see the imagination and to go and take that feeling and let yourself just relax and realize that you can just be here right now.
It's really hard for me to relax because the only time I can sit still is if I'm reading or watching a movie. And then even then I have to get up every once in a while and just go do something else, do some art or something, just because, but when I'm talking to all of you, I'm so engaged in everything that you're saying. I'm in that moment. And I'm finding that life is going really fast, but it's so much more valuable than it was before COVID.
Well, do you think that now you're practicing that you've slowed down a little bit?
Oh yeah.
That you're looking at a silver lining, or that
I took a nap today. That's a miracle for me because I don't sleep much, but today I was just exhausted. And when you called me, I know it wasn't making any sense. I was going, wait, is this? And so I had to quickly go make me a pot of coffee, wake back up. But I don't know what makes me always so anxious, but I'm finding that I'm becoming more relaxed. So when I see you guys, I'm so excited, See, Mandy Haynes just joined us as one of our authors, and she's blogging this week on Breathless Bubbles and Books. So I love Zooms. I love hearing this. And even from what you told me last time, I've gotten even so much more from Pam on this mindfulness and being in the present and the beginners and these. I'll go back and look at the stages and kind of figure out where I am. So
and COVID, mindfulness and COVID it's kind of, we didn't really write our book with COVID in mind. It was published, came out November 15th, and we were out promoting our book, and we came to Texas, then we went to New York, and boom, then it all hit. But the thing about mindfulness that's kind of helped me during this time is that it helps us with all these mandatory health behaviors that we have to have, like the masks and the social distance and not touching our face and all those things. So we have to be more present. We can't be like, looking around. We have to be present. And so it's helped us. And then some of the moments in our book are really relevant to what is going on right now. I mean, it's amazing. Like, we have Take Pleasure in Nature, which is a really good one.
That's what you're talking about. Yeah.
Practice patience. That we have to do with our loved ones who are sharing space. The nature, we're allowed to go outside, thank God. But all these things from our book are actually very relevant to what's going on right now with this COVID. It's amazing.
And, I think that would be a perfect thing for you to write about for maybe some magazine articles like Psychology Today or something, because I think we all need to figure out, especially for me, I'm all by myself. I've got my 2 cats and then the stuffed one. But my cats and I have really bonded, and I'm finding that they are a lot more calmer now that I'm home all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
yeah. And I think that kids, as long as it's a nurturing, there are problems with certain households where people don't want to be home, and there's situations that are really tough on the kids and on the families. But if you have a pretty good functioning household and you can work it out together, I think the bonding that happens within the family right now is amazing. And I think the resilience that these kids will have and the flexibility, because I was at our grandchildren's house yesterday, and they'd had a schedule last week, which was changed this week, which is going to change again next week. And they have to go with it. They have to learn how to deal with it. But they do. They've had to, it's such a different kind of world. And they have learned to slow down, to sometimes to practice the patience, and to just focus on one thing at a time. And that's kind of what we were doing as we were doing our book. We realized you have to focus on one thing at a time and show our grandkids that. The practicing patience, when we're talking about practicing patience, we were talking about just like even playing a game with your grandchild, where your grandchild really wants to win. That becomes like the most important thing. And to really kind of set intentions, that's the other thing we've talked about, to set an intention with your grandchild before you play a game and say, we're here to play and have a good time. Nobody has to win, but let's just enjoy and not have to think, okay, I'm going to beat you.
It's the journey, not the destination,
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I have a tool, and you're going to kind of laugh, but it's called PAM, which is, of course, my name, but it's an acronym for pause a moment. Okay, so it's definitely something that is a tool I've used in therapy, and it's just a good tool in our book. It's great with kids. It's all day long. Just PAM, pause a moment. And with that pause, you take a breath, you bring yourself into the present moment, and you can do it 4, 5, 6 times a day, whatever you need. And sometimes we do need to just stop, pause, take a breath, and go, oh, here we are.
I was reading an article about the school that instead of when a child started acting out and everything, instead of putting them in timeout or putting them in the corner, and all the things they used to do to us, sit us in the hall, they were teaching children how to do yoga and meditate.
Breathing.
Right.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Very big.
It's like, oh, that is so cool, because then there's no shame. It's helping you get yourself back in control.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah. And the other thing that we talk about in the book, and now I see it a lot in our life, is to look at the roses and not the thorns. So when you're talking to your grandchildren, or to talk about what were the good things during the day. And you could talk about the thorns too, but to look at what was great during the day. What were the roses? What brought you happiness today? Or it doesn't even have to be happiness. What made you just feel good? Because happy's a funny word. And the same thing with the thorns. What bothered you today? And let's talk about it. And as Pam said, I think that when we were raising our kids, I'm not sure, it was a big deal if you multitasked, and how many things could you get done in a day. That was wonderful to do. And that's not so great. So if you can sit and talk to them about this at the end of the day, you learn about them and you learn about you.
And also, I think we are at a very, very hard time. I mean, I honestly, and I'm as guilty as the rest of them, is the issue with the cell phone. I mean, it has become a big issue for lots of families and for lots of people. And, part of our suggestion in our book is we want you to be current with technology so that you can relate to your grandkids. But on the other hand, we want you to put it away and turn it off when you're with them. And frankly, I think it should be like that when you're with anybody. It's just,
I do too.
You know what? To try to be present. We have so many distractions now. My kids laugh, my grandkids laugh if they hadn't, when I tell them there was never a cell phone. We didn't even have computers. We had one computer at UCLA, which we stood in line for hours to get our classes, one computer. But you see what I'm saying now, the technology is so advanced, and you guys know this. I mean, it's a challenge. And these families, I mean, my son, he's the worst. I mean, I go to their house. I finally said, please just put it away. Mom, I'm doing work. I don't care. Put it away.
Unplug.
It's just so hard. So hard.
It
I worked
is
in
hard.
pediatrics for 16 years. I did cardiac ultrasound, and it was so sad to me how many families would come in and the parents would sit down and automatically get on their phone, give the kid an iPad to look at a show, which didn't work because I had to put the transducer on it so they couldn't hold it. And it's like, I'm going to look at your baby's or your child's heart. You could be talking to we're going to look at his heart. We're going to, and you'd rather be playing a game or checking social media on your phone. I'm going to show you your kid's heart. It was so sad to me because my son's 35. We didn't have, we lived out in the boonies. We had a TV that had 3 channels on it, and it's
Black
like,
and white.
yeah, and it's like we didn't even turn the TV on a lot of the time. We had a garden. We played outside.
Of course, yeah.
And he was, golly, I mean, I just really enjoyed it. So when this pandemic hit, I thought this is the best thing to happen to so many families, to so many parents that have to spend so much time with their kids.
Yep.
Kids, it's like, I thought it would be a good thing.
It is and it isn't, because I have friends that have been married for decades that all of a sudden got stuck at home with each other and they're divorcing.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
the divorce rates are definitely going up.
Yeah,
I'm single.
because they don't, their kids are gone. They've been so caught up in each other's work that when they're thrown back together, they don't even like each other. They've grown apart. And instead of sitting down and saying, hey, let's think about when we first got together or something, it's just so easy to just go, well, there's going to be something better out there, for me than you. And I can't, it's heartbreaking to me because some of these people are my dearest friends and they go, I'm going through a divorce. And after going through one myself after 25 years, it's really, but I can see how it could happen, because if you're thrown together and you can't, neither one of you can leave and you can't look at each other. I can see how it could happen. And I can also see how things could be taken out and fighting with kids involved too. So, there's a lot of families that are really struggling. And the poor kids, they don't have the safety of school. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that and I think that's what we want. That's what this book was. This book was hopefully some kind of a guideline, as we said, a toolbox, so that parents and grandparents can look at it and just, if you have a problem with sleep, you can go to the page where we talk about, meditating or talking to your kids or putting your, learning about yourself, how to calm yourself down and then helping them calm down. Or if it's about eating, that's the other thing. How many of us kind of just scarf our food down really fast instead of just taking the time to eat and being happy with that apple that we're eating that tastes incredible, and teaching them to enjoy that apple. They do it, as we were just saying. They do teach us so much. That's the gift of kids. Is what we learn from them.
And I just wanted to show you, we have 4 sections in our book. Of all these 52 moments, we've broken it up into growing yourself, respecting others, tuning into your body, experiencing the present moment, and then meditations. That's kind of how we have organized it. You see, so each section, and we have, like Leslie was saying, there's a grandparent vignette or story, and then we have a directive on our moment. And some of them are really cute. Some of these stories, like Kathy, the one you were just saying, would have been a perfect little story for our book. You know what I mean? About your grandson looking at the light and all that. That would be great. Or the clouds.
Yeah. It's funny. And every time I reread books, I pick up different things, or just like from when I talked to you, Leslie, now to talking to you, Pam, I'm learning new things. So the conversation needs to keep going. It's not ever over. You have to be a lifelong learner.
Right.
But I'm finding that your book also would have been great to have had when I was a first-time parent.
Absolutely. Me too.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Also for me.
We had a class in high school that I had to take for a semester called Marriage and Family Development or something. And we spent the entire semester, taught by the home ec teacher, how to get married, how to put on your wedding. And I got sent to the principal's office because the boy that I was partnered with, we both looked at each other and we go, we don't want to get married because he had about as bad a family situation in his home as I did. And marriage didn't seem like a good option for me. So I didn't take it very seriously. So I was constantly being sent to the principal's office because I go, why do I have to spend a semester planning a wedding and the financing it, and when I don't want to do that? I go, I much rather learn how to balance a checkbook and learn how to budget for, apartment or whatever and work. And she said, all girls when they get out of high school must get married.
Wow.
No, that was 1974. Okay. So this book is kind of a book that I think if we had something similar as a course adoption thing when we were in high school, it would have been nice, or I know when I was a book rep, we sold, I used to work for Workman Publishing, and me and this bookstore I was working with, we sold What to Expect When You're Expecting and What to Expect Your First Year in the tens of thousands of copies to the state of Oklahoma to give to their welfare mothers. It's a wonderful program. So that would, to me, I was talking to you, Leslie, about a little bit, a wonderful program to get into foster care, because so many foster care kids are being raised by their grandparents. And, but these are ideas that, might spur you. There's a lot of books done on parenting, but I don't know if they're all that practical. They're either too vague or too broad, or they're so technical. I want a book that reads like yours does, where it's something that you can actually use,
Well, that's what we really, really tried hard not to make it too, to keep it by we want it to be like a hands-on book.
Right.
Keep it by your bedside, open up any page, just look, okay, yeah, I'm not, that kind of thing. And that's kind of how we organized it, because there are lots and lots and lots of parenting books. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Many.
But there
is
lots
of mindful books. Lots of mindfulness
and
books.
Mindful books, but nothing with mindfulness and grandparenting together. Nothing to our knowledge. We really did research that.
And what Pam is saying is that's what really wanted our book, was that you could open a page anytime you want, or if there's this issue, you can just go to that page. Or it's not
just go like this. Just go, okay, where am I today?
Yeah.
Respond rather than react. That's a good one.
Right. But you don't have to, it's not a book that you necessarily read from cover to cover.
Yeah.
It's a book that you just pick up and kind of enlighten yourself that particular day or that particular week, and put it into action for yourself and
if
for your
one to put in your diaper bag or your kitty carrying case or something to pull out when you're at the doctor's office and sharing a story, or it's just a one-stop shop for everything you need to know. And I'm very excited about it. And I knew that when I heard about it from Sherry Staunch that it would be the perfect book for me, because there is nothing I wanted to be. My grandparents were really important in my life. They kept us every weekend. I went from one set of grandparents to the other set of grandparents, mostly my mother's parents. So they were instrumental in my life. Of course, and you've seen my mother, Mandy, my grandmother at 70, because she was a real spitfire. And she was she's not your typical grandmother, but she was wonderful to me. And I loved being with her. She sang and she made life a joy. And that's what I want for my grandson. And I'm sure that's what we all want. But I think parents could also learn from your book too. I mean, I know it's about grandparenting, but you could take those same things that you
Absolutely.
and plug them right into
I'm
parenting.
gonna pick the book up again.
Good for you. Grandparenting. It's great.
Grandparenting, renew, relive, rejoice. Yes.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much. And I do think that the more that we talk about it, the more we get it out there, the more people are going to see it. You know, if Mr. Rogers was still here, Mr. Rogers would embrace this book, or Sesame Street, or Reading Rainbow, all these shows that I used to love, Captain Kangaroo and you know, Romper Room, all these shows I watched as kids. If there was a book about grandparenting, I think, but you know, for everybody that's going to be listening to this, when we put it up on YouTube, you know, get the book. It's wonderful. And
it'd be a great gift when you're throwing a baby shower for someone to pick up for the grandparents. That would be such a great gift for that.
It is. You're right. Thank you. Yeah.
And I remember I found a book on, so many times you see me and mommy and my mama and all this. And so I was really aware of my son-in-law being a new daddy. And so I looked for daddy books, and he really loved that. And the first time I was at their house, he does a story time at night, and he sings, he's going to kill me. He sings Hank Williams songs to his son. And they just, the looks on their faces when he's singing, you know, I'm so lonesome I could cry. I tell you, he's going to grow up and he's going to remember those moments that he had with his dad, where he sang and did the bedtime story. He also bathes him every night and gets him ready for bed. And then a mom tucks him in. It's the exact opposite of but that's Lainey's time to take her bath, because she's had him all day. You know, and she takes him even with her to work. So daddy does that so she can go take a long bath. And they have the greatest relationship. I go, man, I would have really liked that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it really is. It's
good. That's great.
So they're good parents. I'm very proud of them. And they haven't even read your book, but I'm definitely going to be showing it to them, because I'm going to visit them tomorrow.
Oh, good.
And, my daughter has to work, and she goes, do you want to keep Hawthorne in the afternoon? And I go, do I ever? And we're going to be doing Halloween, and Hawthorne is, 20 months. He's going to be an entomologist, and we're all going to be bugs.
Oh, how great.
And
that's
so,
fabulous.
I'm going to do a live FaceTime, and this is all going to happen before I do my Pulpwood Queen Film Club tomorrow night, because I'm doing a pre-show on Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, which was my favorite show as a kid. People go, you are so weird, Kathy. I mean, The Birds, and I go, I love Tippi Hedren's role, because she was so cool and sophisticated. But she also was the first signed book that I ever bought in California, and it was the Cats of Shambhala, which is about her raising big cats, and she even drew little birds in my book. So you'll see it if you guys go on. I'll post it on Facebook. But I got him a little vest that has thousands of little pockets at a state park, and he, to keep his little buggy stuff, and he loves bugs. So we're going to have fun with it.
Does he know, can he say the word entomologist?
No, but he can sure say bug. And he calls me and Lainey, his mom, and his dad all mama. And we're all mama. And they want him to call me Mama Cat. But he'll say cat, but he has never said them yet together. But he'll go, Mama, Mama, and it just to hear him say it, Mama to him is just that person that's helping.
So sweet.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mandy has a grown son. Yeah, she has a grown son. So, And do you have any grandkids, Mandy?
I do. I have 2 grandsons and a granddaughter.
All
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Oh boy, I bet you're
Yeah.
a cool grandma because she's an artist too. So, art grandmas are fun because we'll paint and do the Play-Doh and glitter and all that stuff.
Guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Play in the dirt, do all that stuff. So it's really fun. Well, for those that don't know your background and everything, what is the next thing you're going to be doing with this story? Is it going to continue? What's the journey? So when this goes up on YouTube, people can know what's to look forward to coming next.
Well, we've been talking about this, and we're thinking that we may have to do some kind of book on grandparents and some of the obstacles that you take on
Challenges.
as a
Being
grandparent.
dropped off every weekend where you guys never get to have a weekend off. Yeah, there's that problem too.
Or
Well,
there is,
yeah. Go ahead. Leslie.
there's the what I read about a lot, and I've heard about a lot, is there are grandparents that would like to tell their kids, their adult kids, how to parent.
Yeah.
And it's really not.
It's not being mindful.
Yeah, that's not being mindful, and that's really not thinking about their adult kids. And because it's really, we're grandparents, we're not the parents, and that's something that's really important to remember.
Yes.
And it's not always the easiest thing to do, but that's.
And also the competition sometimes between grandparents can be tricky. I mean, there's a lot of different issues that have popped up through us doing this book and talking to so many grandparents. So we're just in the thinking process, but that's kind of where we're leading.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I think that's
hard
a
when
good
you
idea.
when your grandkids have so many sets of grandparents, and it's hard to not get your feelings hurt and
Exactly.
share.
It's hard to share. I mean, I think it's hard to share. I really do think it's really hard to share because you're used to having them to yourselves, everybody to yourselves. And then your kids get married, and then that changes, and then there's, in-laws, and there's, brothers and sisters and other family members, and it's not your little unit, that little cohesive unit that you had before.
Yeah.
You know what, the way I look at it is, I'm not the only grandparent, and there's lots of great grandparents and everybody involved. But the way I look at it is this: I want everybody to love him. And so if I'm with him and it's just me, then it's our time. And if he's with his other grandmother or his great grandmother, then that's their time. And if we're all together, I just want everybody to love him and him to know that
everybody loves him.
There's no competition, because I saw that when I was a child, is that there was some emotional blackmail being done. Oh, well, you can't watch him this weekend. Well, I'll take him to Buddy's mother, my dad's mother. And, my grandparents got along great. My mother's parents got along great with my father's parents, but my mom would sometimes play them against each other. And I as a kid knew that wasn't fair, because, they both loved us differently. I had the city grandma, and then I had the country grandma, and it's like country mouse, city mouse. And when I was with the country grandma, we were out on the farm, riding in the truck, going to pick apples or peaches or pears or whatever, fishing. But when I went to other grandma, we played with kittens and learned to crochet and sew and garden. And I just love both worlds. So
I think one thing that it's all about the connection to your grandkids. And I feel like our book really pushes this, and it's what you put in. Like, it's all about your relationship. So if you are going to put in the time to be with them and go to their level and engage and do all that, you're going to build a relationship. And that to me is what this is all about, is that relationship. So that should bring you confidence. Some of the grandparents compete, or some don't want to do this and some will, and then there's all this stuff, but it's up to us. Like, we are the ones, if we want to relate and have a good relationship, then it's on us, because that's what we need to do. It's our work, you see?
And they're a gift to us, you know.
Totally, 100%.
Absolutely the greatest gift ever. So we have to be
Exactly right.
an example to them, to show them, you know, how much. I don't have any problem say, no, we don't talk back to mommy. You know, mommy is here for you. And he'll just look at me, and he'll look at his mom, and then he'll go hug her. And that makes me happy, because I stand by my daughter 100%. I don't ever go, you're not doing that right, you shouldn't tell him that.
Good. Good. But you're unusual. Not unusual, but there are lots that don't do that. You know?
Yeah, they try. She has I raised her. I mean, you know, I raised her. So if she's the way she is, that's my responsibility.
That's on you.
Yeah. So I feel like, but no, she's a really good mom. I'm both my youngest daughter, she's a really good aunt. So I feel very blessed. I feel very blessed. So, and I'm hoping to use more of your wonderful years of knowledge and to make it even better. And that's what the book is. That book is kind of like a little Bible for grandparents to look for inspiration, or to help guide them in the grandparenting process. And it's a gift to be a grandparent, because I have a lot of friends that still don't have any grandkids, and they're like,
right.
My kids aren't married yet. And I go, well, you know, that's another thing, because you know, they want to be grandparents. And but I never said, when are you going to have a grandchild for me? You know, I said, you know, I didn't have mine till I was 33 and 37. So I feel like it happens when it's supposed to happen. And so at 64, I've got a 20-month-old, you know, little grandson. It looks like we have boys. We have a lot of boys between us, and I don't know anything about boys, because, but I have to show you this picture, because when you turn on my phone, I was on the phone with my daughter, and gosh, and get off of there. It's the opening picture on my phone, and I don't know, this thing keeps popping up. But he is cleaning off the dining room.
Oh, so cute.
She's teaching him how to unload the dishwasher.
I love it already.
And he loves it. He loves
Of course.
He likes to help. His biggest thing is taking out the trash. Lainey will bag up the trash, and he'll run over and he'll go, Mama. And so what they do is they let him carry out the bag. He can't hardly pick it up sometimes, but they pick him up, he drops it in, and then they put, you know, a nickel in his bank.
That's great.
Wow. But it's teaching him, you know, and so when he comes to my house, he goes, trash. He'll see the trash bag. I go, okay, let's go take out the trash. I'm so excited. I think, yay, he's going to be.
See, that's a perfect example. Kathy, that's a perfect example of beginner's mind.
Right.
See? The trash.
The trash, right.
So excited about the trash. And I go, I said, what do you think he'll be? And Lenny goes, he may be a garbage collector. I said, whatever makes him happy. You know, I'm a firm believer in that people, if you do what you're most passionate about, you're happy, everybody around you is happy. You may not, you know, my generation were taught to get the good job and, you know, go for the money. And I just, you know, I never did get that. Because I saw so many people so unhappy in jobs, you know, doing hair, you know, you hear everybody, you're kind of an unpaid psychiatrist without any kind of education in psychiatry, but you hear just everybody just, you touch somebody's head and they just pour their souls out to you. So, you know, I've learned that through the years that the power of touch, shampooing somebody's hair just makes them feel so much better. People just, they groan. They go, oh. And I think, when was the last time this person was ever touched? You know, it kind of can tear me up sometimes, because sometimes that's the only human touch they ever get, because they're alone.
That's so sad. Yeah.
It is sad. But that's why when I talk to people, I'm one of these people that I like to hold people's hand. I have this theory in life that if you're arguing with somebody, it didn't work for me all with everybody, but if you're arguing with somebody and they're really mad at you, just say, give me your hand. Just a second, give me your hand. And you'll hold hands. And then I go, okay, continue. They can't do it. They cannot yell at you anymore. And I go, you know, I care about you so much, and we're, you know, this is escalating, but let's just think about our friendship. And next thing you know, you're laughing. The hand holding is the #1 way for world peace.
I love that.
We actually use that with couples in session. You know, sometimes we have them hold hands or sit next to each other and touch, and it does really bring things down quite a bit.
Well, yeah, because the power of touch can really change everything. Not always. Some people don't want to be touched, you know.
No, that's so sad that they don't want to be touched. But this is kind of like a little bit like the responding rather than reacting. When you ask somebody when you're touching somebody, then their reaction to you, I guess, it's got to calm down.
Dissipates almost immediately. And another thing that I get a lot of authors, first-time authors, who are scared to death to talk in front of people. You know, they've been writing at home and they don't have the verbal skills. And I go, well, here's what I did this with an author. And she's, to this day, she's the most dynamic speaker, but she said, I'm scared to speak in front of your group. And I go, well, what we're going to do is we're going to go up together and we're going to hold hands, and I'm going to lead you through. So I introduced her and I'm holding her hand. I said, you know, she's a little nervous about this is her first time, everybody. And everybody goes, oh. And I said, so tell me about yourself. And she'd tell me. And so she's talking away. And the next thing she knows, she didn't even realize she was doing it, but she let go of my hand and started just talking. And I just started slipping back into and when she was done, she goes, when did you leave? And I go, well, you let go. She goes, that's amazing. I go, I wish somebody had done that with me, because I flunked speech in high school. But I have learned, when I was in Miami for the National Women's Book Council awarded me the Pennell Award, and I had to give a speech because of doing children's book selling. I got an award for outstanding children's programming. And when I got up there, my knee was knocking so bad against the podium. It was, you know, and the president of the Women's Book Council reached over and she just grabbed my knee and held it still so it wouldn't hit the podium. And I just, you know, just her touching me and giving me that confidence, you know, I made it through the speech. And it was funny, when I got back home, I thought, why was I so scared and emotional? And then I found out I was pregnant with Madeline. So, you know, kind of but I told her that. I said, I'm so sorry. And she goes, I just felt so sorry for your knee. Banging against that podium, bang, 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 bang. But I've learned that, you know, when you face your biggest fears, if you have somebody there that's holding your hand, or just a hand on your shoulder or arm, it just gives you that feeling of love, and that it's okay.
Softness or something.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
Not alone. So so if you see me grab somebody's hand, you know something's up. No, and I've had many a time at Girlfriend Weekend, at the end of it, I've had everybody join hands, and let's just remember what's happening at this moment in our lives. And people always cry. They go, I don't want it to be over. And I go, well, we never do. But thankfully for these Zoom meetings, it's not anymore, right? It's not. We can all connect. And anytime you guys want to talk to me, just, just understand that if I'm taking a nap, I may not make any sense.
But there's something very welcoming and you're very inviting, Kathy, and very welcoming. I have to say that when Sherry asked Pam and I and said we were invited to the Pulpwood Girlfriends weekend, we were both going, well, what is this?
You probably
where are we going?
And you had to wear outfits and crazy. It's crazy.
You have to wear a tiara, you wear animal prints, do dress like a lumberjack one night. And we both were kind of thinking, oh, wow. And then something happens. You come there. I mean, if you will allow yourself to, you come there. And then, which is what we did, going, okay, this is a real adventure. You hang out and you meet all these people, and there's a camaraderie. There's something that happens. There's like a magical potion that is fed to you. It's by the time you leave, you go, wow, this is pretty fantastic.
It's pretty amazing. I had a songwriter come to Girlfriend Weekend because of a friend in California named Kathy Kamen-Goldmark. She was a singer-songwriter and author, and she helped me start the Hairball, which is, and she came the first year with her husband. They weren't married at the time, but it was Sam Barry. And they came in. He used to be the vice president of HarperCollins San Francisco. And they came in, and he played the harmonica, and she played the guitar. And they talked Marshall Chapman into coming, who is a songwriter from Nashville, and she's written for everybody, the Judds, Willie Nelson, all these people. And she is a tomboy.
She's awesome.
Totally awesome. But she's real laid back, and she's just something else. And she goes, a tiara? What? No, big hair? No. And she came to the weekend, and the night of the ball, she got up and sang, and she had a tiara on, but she wore it upside down because she couldn't be like everybody else. And on the way back to the airport, Kathy and her rode together from Dallas to Jefferson. She goes, that was the dangest thing I've ever seen. And she goes, I never in a million years thought I would ever be hanging out with a bunch of girls who wear hot pink and leopard print and big hair. And she goes, but I feel like writing a song about it. And they wrote a song, and it's in the front of my book, and they gave it to me to put into my book. And it's, she'd sing it every time she'd come to Girlfriend Weekend, and it's called I Want My Hair Considered, because while she was singing, and I announced I was going to have this contest for Hairball Queen, they jumped up and they said, we want to be considered. We want to be considered. And so she took that, and they wrote this song on the way to the airport. And then when they got to the airport, I guess they recorded it somehow, but they sent it to me. And so it's in the front of my book, The Pulpwood Queen's Tiara Wearing Book Sharing Guide to Life. And Marshall's pretty awesome. She's a regular down in Nashville, and you know her, Mandy. She's a trip, man.
I know. I've never met her. Or I might have been introduced, but haven't hung out with her, but it's on my list. She's on my bucket list. She's so cool.
I got a call from her one day, and she said, Kathy Patrick, that's what my name was then. She goes, Kathy Patrick, I'm on Willie Nelson's tour bus, and we're on I-20 passing Marshall, Texas. I thought I'd say hey. And they were headed to Shreveport, and she just called me out of the blue. And she's pretty awesome. But anyway, those are the stories that I love to share, because it's all about, you have preconceived notions when you go in to any situation, but if you leave yourself open for the experience, you will find that sometimes, not always, but sometimes something magical happens. And that's what I think Girlfriend Weekend is. And for all of you here, we've decided that I've been talking to everybody about Girlfriend Weekend this year. We're going to have a Zoom-a-thon, and I talked to you about this before, and I want you guys all on it. We're going to have a Zoom-a-thon just like Girlfriend Weekend, only it's going to be online, where we'll do the panels with 15-minute breaks. We're going to do this, but we're going to do it as a slumber party, pajama party. So everybody has to wear pajamas.
I don't think it's hard right now.
We're at home. I mean, what else? And they said, well, that's a lot to do in one weekend. I go, I'm going to be in my pajamas. So it's going to be so easy. And we can just put on robes and fuzzy slippers, and we'll just have the biggest Girlfriend Weekend pajama party. And, you know, nothing revealing. Please don't wear teddies or anything like that. But, you know,
What's the date? Did you already pick a date?
What's the date?
It's always Martin Luther King weekend. So I think, you know, it's usually about the third weekend in
15th is the 16th, 17th, the 18th is Martin Luther King.
Okay, we'll do it on that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then if we have so many people want to be on board this year, it may be Sunday afternoon too. So we'll schedule panels, and I'm going to announce my book club selections December 1st. And then I'm going to send out the schedule to all the people I picked and say, here's the schedule. Is this going to work for you? And then I can move around a little bit. Then once I get everybody set, I will freeze those dates, set up the Zoom times, and I'll have those sent to each person so they know exactly what time their Zoom meeting's going to be. I'm going to be overseeing everything, but we do have some panels that are going to be like Pros in Pandemic is doing a panel that you're on, Mandy. Yes. I talked to Eileen Sanchez today, and you know, that panel is going to be for 2022. But I'm going to have to set up, I didn't really think I was going to do anything for 2021, but everybody goes, we're really going to miss it. And Eileen told me, she goes, well, get it up quick because you're going to sell out. And I go, well, you can get a lot of people on these Zoom calls, you know. We can get a lot of people, and then I'll tape them all, put them on the YouTube channel so you can watch them and share them, and with all your fan base. It'll be a little work, but I know everybody's going to work with me. We'll have fun. And
I want to be in the panel.
You want to be on a panel? Oh, good. You know what? I need to get your phone number and we'll talk, okay? Because okay. I want to know more about what you're doing up in Maryland, because she's got, you guys, this show. I mean, all these people. We would love to have you. So, and have you got books too?
Yes, 2 books, and I'm going to post it to you. So do you want both the books, or do you just want one, the one I wrote about?
I want whatever you want to send me. And what we'll do is tomorrow I'm going to Dallas, so it'll be in the afternoon, but we'll exchange in an email contact information, and we'll talk about this, because the more people that are involved that are working with books across the country. I've partnered with the Pat Conroy Literary Center. I've been a supporter of the Dolly Parton Imagination Library for years, so I'm going to be talking to David Dodson, who's the executive director of that. I've got the Right Review in New York involved. I've got the Mighty Blaze with Carolyn Leavitt and Jenna Bloom. I've got Sue's Reading Neighborhood. I've got a lot of blogging friends. So I run the only book club convention in the country. Mm-hmm. And I can't believe that.
I have sent you an invitation just now to be on my radio show.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we'll talk tomorrow afternoon.
If you want more people, let us know.
These girls are all going to want to talk to you too.
If you want us, we're available.
Yeah, I've already sent her an email, and if she wants, she can share it with you guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
Tomorrow I'm not free,
because we want to know more about what you're doing. And, you know, the way I look at it is that anybody that is reading books, anybody
Uh-huh.
that's sharing authors and literacy are my best friends. And I am not in competition with anybody who's doing anything. I've admired everybody who started, Oprah Winfrey to Diane Sawyer and Charlie Gibson. They're the ones that had me come on and announce their book club on Good Morning America. And, I'm for everybody. Let's all work together.
Yes.
And
Right.
I'm telling you, if we can all work together and lift each other up, it's just like, who was it that said this today? They said, if women would quit being petty and jealous of each other and work together, we would rule the world. And I said, I think we need to work with everybody, men and
Yes.
women.
You're very welcoming and very sweet.
It's a balance in life. And I have as many guys involved with my book club. And when I wrote my book, I had 66 blurbs, and most of them were from men. Because I have a lot of ardent author supporters that are men writers. But I'm not going, I'm in an inclusive book club. I want everybody to be a part of it. I don't care where you live in the world, what your economic background is, what your religion is, what your culture. We want everybody on board, because the only way we're going to make this world a better place is that if we celebrate our similarities and lift up that we're all different. I mean, I'm definitely the most different person in this panel, because how many people put on a top hat to do the show? But I had taken a nap and I had hat hair. So I put that I don't take myself seriously at all. But I do take my authors and our relationships and
Yes, you do.
the sharing with the books very seriously, because it's really the community of sharing stories is what makes us human. And no better way to do that than reading books. And so
Yes.
welcome to the Pulpwood Queens. And
Thank you so much.
I
I
appreciate
really,
you joining us.
I'm looking forward to talk to you. And can we talk on Monday, because tomorrow I'm not free?
Oh, absolutely. Monday would be great. I'll be driving back from Dallas in the morning, so maybe Monday afternoon.
Yes.
Okay, let's
I'll send you my cell number.
Okay, we'll plan on it Monday afternoon. How cool is this, you guys? Isn't
This is great. And Mandy, I've enjoyed what you've been posting this week.
Oh,
thank you.
And
it's so much fun to do that.
Yeah.
The picture of your aunt looks like somebody, a celebrity, and I can't figure out, who does she look like? She looks like somebody I know, and it's a new star, and I'm going, man, she looks like, I'll figure it out when I figure, because
it's so funny, my mom is she was the 9th out of 10.
Yikes.
Yep. So I had a lot of aunts, she had a lot of sisters, and they were all so much fun and different. Helen, I was closer to Helen than any of them. Lily Bell, I was really close to Lily. She passed at 93. So she lived a long life. Mom was the baby, so they were a lot older than her. But
your accent is priceless, Mandy. You have the cutest little Nashville accent I've ever heard. I love it.
Thank you.
I'm from Kansas, but I lived in California and San Diego for a while when I worked for Elizabeth Arden and May Company, and then I've been in Texas for over 30 years. So no matter where I go, people go, "Where are you from?" And I go, "Well, I just kind of pick up wherever I'm at. So if I hang out with you long enough, I'll be talking just like you, or."
Kathy, unfortunately, I do have another meeting at 6:30, so I'm going to have to zoom off of here.
Oh, okay. It's so great talking.
So great to be with you. Thank you so much. This was so fabulous. Nice to meet Afshan and you, Mandy. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And Leslie, we'll talk. I do have to go though. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Hey,
bye-bye. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I guess it's getting to be that time.
I didn't realize how late it was. Well, this was so much fun.
the time just slips away, but we're having a wonderful time. This has all been recorded. As soon as it downloads, I'll put it on my Kathy L. Murphy channel. And I tell everybody, you know, if you have any questions, email me at thepulpwoodqueen@gmail.com. If you put in Pulpwood Queen on Google, you're going to find my website, you're going to find my Facebook, you're going to find my Instagram, you're going to find everything about me, because I post so much. But I am having
I love it. Yes, it's great.
it's what keeps me sane, because I'm such a people person. I love being around people. What Afshin does not know is I've spent a lifetime of doing hair. So I'm used to dealing with women and men and children every day. And that's how I put myself through college. I finally got my art degree after 43 years. I'm an artist too. So I enjoy being around people. I enjoy the conversation, and I apologize if I hog the conversation too much, but I've been alone so long. It's like, I got a lot of things to say. So I want to hear more from you. So please, I'll see you Monday afternoon. And Mandy, I'll see you tomorrow morning. If you can get your post up really early, because I'm leaving for Dallas early, because I've got to be there before noon because I'm watching Hawthorne.
What time would you like it? Like about 6?
If you can put it up even tonight, that'd be great. And then I'll just put it up.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, put it up tonight. And then Leslie, let's see, what else have we got going with you? Anything else?
Well, you know what? We're one of the our book is one of the bonus books for November.
That's right. That's right. So I'm very excited about that. And I will have up December 1st all my 2021. I've got the list pretty much done, but I just keep getting more books. It's just terrible.
I'm sending mine too.
Look, I want to see you. I got River Jordan's today.
Isn't that a beautiful book?
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I was so excited when I got she's been with me for so long that when I got this book, I was so happy that I did the river dance. So I posted.
Have you had a chance to start reading that one yet?
I just got it today, and I just know, but I'm taking it with me. In fact, I may read part of it to Hawthorne, because he likes adult books. When he was just a baby in the high chair, I read him from my book, and he was just hanging on every word. He had no idea what I was saying, but I'm very passionate about when I read. I like to do all the voices. So, but they go, he was really listening to you. And I go,
there's one really good character in there that would be.
Huh?
So there's one character in there that a guy that she meets that helps her that you might not want to read out loud to your grandson.
Oh no.
You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see.
What chapters? Is that in a pub by any chance or something?
Oh, well, you'll see. And it's like, he's like, she met so many incredible people, because you know the story behind it, right? How they really didn't have a plan or anything. They just, people with strangers is what she calls it. Yeah, couch surfed. And all these people that she met along the way. And there's this one guy, because it's so, like, it's a spiritual, like how you were talking earlier about nature, you know, like connecting with nature, and how she just weaves it all together. So it's just beautiful. And then this one really rough guy comes in and just saves the day. And he's so cute because he's like this, you know, it's like how everybody, we all fit. We all fit.
If everybody would take the chance to hear every single person's story, we would, but we don't give people a chance to tell their story.
And I love how she writes it too, because she just writes him in, like, just with every, you know, just how it happened, and, you know, every person. And he's one of my favorite guys that she ran into. He's so cute. You'll see when you come to it.
Okay. Well, it's been a wonderful night.
Thank you.
With all of us, and we will see you down the road. Thank you so much for joining me. Everybody go to the Kathy L. Murphy channel on YouTube and watch all my videos, my story times for children, my videos for Pulpwood Queen Film Club, Pulpwood Queen Academy, interviews with authors, and see me in all my crazy costumes. So thank you for joining us, Afshin. It's just
Thank
a
you so
pleasure
much.
to meet you, and I can't wait to talk more on Monday. Mandy, see you on Breathless Bubbles. Leslie,
All right.
Thank you.
we'll be reading your book.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Oh, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
And please
Thank
keep
you.
a spot for me for my book.
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You will like that. Both were Amazon bestsellers.
Oh, good. Well, that's
Yeah.
good to know. Thank you so much. I look forward to reading it.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.